TheEdgeOnAir.com.
Hey, this is BJ Shea. You know, I do a radio show out in Seattle, but you're here listening to The Edge on air.com. Oh, yeah, and Ryan Hoppe and SuperRICH. They're both wanted. Please arrest them.
What's up? This is the Hoppe and SuperRICH show on The Edge on air.com. I'm Ryan Hoppe.
And I'm Ryan SuperRICH.
And on the phone line from WSLP in Lake Placid, New York, I got to network with this guy at the morning show boot camp where I interned at.
Sweet.
A really nice guy, and he's on the air right now. What's up, Paul? How's it going?
It's going real good. It's a little cold, you know, finally getting into spring after 4 inches of snow yesterday. We're getting some sunshine, so that's pretty good.
What is your take on the winter? Do you like it, or are you a guy that likes his warm weather?
It's like, to be honest with you, I mean, I've been up here for like 4 years now, and it's in the mountains. It's kind of different. I mean, it's been kind of one of those really tough winters where it wasn't necessarily snowy. I mean, up here, I mean, where you guys are, it's been really, really snowy.
Yeah.
But like here, it hasn't been that snowy. It's just been cold. It's that raw. It's that driving cold. It's been like the negatives. We had like a bout of negative 20-degree weather in like November, and that's hard. Like to want to die every time you go outside because you feel like you're Jack Nicholson in The Shining.
Right.
Like that's bad.
And now, Paul, I got to meet you at last year's morning show boot camp, and real quick, what was your favorite memory there?
You know, I got to say, you know, hey, I'm on your show. I can totally pander your way and be like, oh, it's meeting you, Ryan. Although it was really nice meeting you. I think it was just, you know, honestly, as I look back at it, I think my biggest memory is just realizing how crazy it was and how much information there actually was. It was overwhelming. I think that was my biggest memory is that just like, hey, there's there's these amazing talents that were there, but it was also extremely like overwhelming. I just remember like plopping onto my bed and like saying, "Holy moly, there's a lot going on here." But I mean, it's hard to pick just one. It was just really being able to connect and feel equal. I think that was a big thing too, is that everyone was just equal there. Everyone was everyone was at the same level. And it didn't matter if you're making millions of dollars or making hardly enough to live. Everyone was the same. Everyone's ideas were on the same level, and that was really cool.
And now I want to get the audience to know you a little bit. So, where did you grow up as a kid, and how was your childhood and stuff?
That's a loaded question. I grew up in Clifton Park, New York, which is just north of Albany, New York. Lower 518 representing. Went to Shenandoah Central School District, pretty big school district in the upper northeast of upstate New York. And my childhood wasn't good. My childhood was actually pretty crappy.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was. There was a lot of pain. I grew up in a domestic violence situation. My father was physically abusive towards my mother, mentally and emotionally abusive towards me and my sister, and it just kind of I guess that's kind of what spurred my interest in the radio, because I lived so long without having a voice, and radio was one place I did have a voice.
Right.
So it was pretty awesome.
And now, I didn't have the best time when I grew up, so was radio one of the things that just helped you get through hard times? Because talk radio did the same thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit before, Ryan. And I mean, and it is huge to have that outlet to know that, hey, there's other people out there that care. You're not alone. You are. There's people out there that are willing to hear your voice and give you a shot. And I mean, I grew up listening to Don Weeks he's a legendary guy up here in upstate New York on 810 WGY. And he just was so positive. I mean, there was days where, I mean, it was really a matter of I can't get up, and listening to his show on the way to school just set me up for just this great day of understanding of, hey, it could be a lot worse, and a lot of times it was, but most of the time it wasn't. It was radio really made it a beautiful thing.
And who were some of your radio influences while you were growing up, and any of the shows that you liked listening to?
Yeah, I mean, definitely just Don Weeks. It was one of my was one of the main fun things that I always enjoyed listening to. Also, and I got the chance to meet these guys, or at least half of them, at Morning Show Boot Camp. Woody and Jim, they're in Nashville now. They were in Albany for a long time. Listen to them a little bit too, and it was kind of funny at Morning Show Boot Camp. One of them comes up to me and says, "You look like Jared from Subway," and I was like, yeah. I've been told that a lot, and he's like, "Oh, I am," and I'm like, "Who are you again?" And I was like, "I've been listening to you since I was a little kid," and it immediately turned the conversation a little awkward because it was like, "Hey, oh, I'm old," or "You're," what's up with that? So it got a little awkward, turned into a little fangirl kind of situation, but it was. It was, that was a big influence. I mean, Paul Harvey, listening to Paul Harvey was huge. It was an honor to hear some of his stuff kind of live when he was still, doing the live updates and stuff like that. And I mean, that was absolutely fantastic. Of course, Top 40 Casey Kasem. I'm Casey Kasem. Was just a huge influence. Phil Henry, who's doing his digital thing now.
Yes.
He was a pretty big influence growing up too. I mean, that man is just amazing.
And now, what was your first foot in the door when it comes to radio?
I started radio in high school, and I actually came along at the time where a lot of radio stations wouldn't let high schoolers. It used to be you could intern in as a high schooler in radio, but then corporate policies changed, and a lot of the times you can only do it if you were getting college credit. So I started in Albany, interning for Radio Disney my senior year of high school, and by the end of it, by March of that year, I was in radio. I was working part time for them, being a promotions assistant, and I worked with them throughout high school and college, and after college, I kind of did their public affairs show in Albany for a bit, and then I found my opportunity up here in Lake Placid and just busted down the door. I said, you know what, if I'm going to get in it, I'm going to do it right.
And how was your time at Radio Disney?
It was a wonderful company to work for because it really allowed me. They're really strict about branding, and that's one thing that you don't really see a lot in live remotes and stuff these days. You see really sloppy stuff. I mean, you're representing this station that people care about, and so with Radio Disney, it just really just turned into me what you want to look like, what an event should look like, how you can create a bigger event around your remote. And it was just a wonderful opportunity, and it's just I've learned so much. James Boniface, who's now the GM in Philly for Radio Disney, he taught me so much, and I owe a lot to him as a mentor. And so I just learned how to look good and make radio look good, and learn how important that brand is in radio, and have a little respect for it.
Who are some other radio mentors that you have right now?
Oh, I mean, I've got a ton of people that I turn to and talk to. Adam Baum from Nights with Adam Baum. He's a fantastic person. He's really given me the opportunity to one visit when I was in Dallas in September. He took me in and showed me all the cool stuff down at Cumulus in Dallas. I'd say Greg Tanner, who's out in Sacramento. He has been more than amazing to go out and just listen to demos that I send him and give me so much great advice. He's really a great mentor. I mean, Lori Lewis, who's celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to Lori. She's been quite the mentor, and the list goes on and on. I mean, Jim Jim out in Detroit, and just I don't know. It's just the list goes on and on. There's been so many people that really have reached out and believed in me, and James Boniface again. I mean, and Zach Morris out of in Philly too. So I mean, it's just the list goes on and on. I could sit here all day.
And are there any specific memories you've had so far from WSLP? Like any favorite shows that you've done?
Yeah, I mean, I broadcast live from a carousel for 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good time.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, honestly, I've been here for 4 years. I just celebrated my 4-year anniversary up here.
Great.
And every day you make new memories, and I feel blessed to be able to connect with the people up here, and be in a position to connect with these people. We've been through natural disasters together. There's been people who I've mourned with. There's people who have come to me and said, I'm hurting right now, and we've got a chance to connect and brighten each other's days. And there's so many great things that have happened. And I know that's awfully vague and kind of a cliche kind of dance around, but there's just some new things happen each and every day that just make it really, really special.
And now, what is it like when you have a fan come up to you and thank you for helping out their day? What is it like as a host on the air?
It's humbling. It makes, I don't know, it's hard to explain. That's a really good question. I would say it feels kind of like when you are sitting at an ice cream stand, all right, and you're sitting at an ice cream stand, and you kind of say to yourself, like, you're like, and the sun is out, and it's just the perfect day for an ice cream cone, and you're sitting there, and everything is just zen. I don't know, maybe because I'm a fat kid, I go right to the ice cream stand kind of metaphor. But
I know what you mean.
It's like that. You just feel that connection, and you feel it's a humbling, just zen type of connection, because sometimes you've met that person, and sometimes you've never seen that person before in your life, and it kind of catches you, but you just feel zen, because you're like, this is why I went into it. I didn't go into it to necessarily get paid $1 million. I went into it for this moment to be able to help that person in their time of need. And then honestly, sometimes that helps you, because you can be having a tough day, stuff going on in your life, and in the next moment, somebody's, you realize that you got to step up your game, because there's people out there that have it worse, and you have to do it for them. You have to work through whatever pain you're going through. You have to work through your sickness. As you can hear, my voice is a little sickly, but it's just, yeah, I guess it would be, it's zen. It's humbling, and it's putting you in a place of zen. And I guess to me, that place of zen, my happy place, is an ice cream stand on a sunny day eating ice cream. I don't know what that says about me.
Is it hard to wake up for a morning radio show like that, or have you gotten used to it yet?
I mean, it gets tough, especially during the winter when you're getting like an hour worth of sun.
Mm-hmm.
And but it really becomes routine. It's all about routine. I mean, you guys know it's about making sure that you have enough time for prep. Okay, this is done here, that's done there. I try to get as much prep done the night before, because in the morning I need that time to energize myself. I need to realign any energy that I might be missing, and then go for it. Of course, make adjustments on the fly, but it's just routine. It's all routine now. Waking up, I know when I need to get to the station. I know what I need to get done. It's routine.
And now, for people who have not heard your show yet, how would you describe it to everyone out there listening right now?
Well, there's probably a lot of people listening out there right now that heard your last song before we went on air here, and was like, oh, hey, like, let's, like that, is your R&B rap? And no, I don't. It's adult contemporary, so you're going to hear, more. You're never going to really hear rap music. I make it positive. I'm not really necessarily snarky. I am goofy. I try to just be positive, upbeat. I kind of say what comes to my head as it comes out. So sometimes it's being playful with some of the songs. Sometimes it's kind of just not making sense in the moment and then bringing it to a bigger point. It's kind of just I try to make it a really uplifting, positive show. If you need to laugh at somebody for the day, you can laugh at me, you can laugh with me. I just want to make it a point that in the end, it's just that little push that people need, just like when I was a kid, just that need to get going. And whatever way you're going to do it, I hope people can enjoy it with me, and because it's just an amazing connection that I try to bring every day.
What is your take on the future of radio?
Right now?
Yeah, just like the future and like what's going to happen in like the next 10 years, let's say.
I'd say in the next 10 years, radio is going to change. Radio is changing. Radio is going to continue to change. I think that sometimes we're putting our focus in the radio industry a little bit in areas that are going to be problems and are problems, but there's no solution to it right now because the technology isn't necessarily there for it. I mean, with the streaming and HD radio and stuff like that, there's that's been the focus, but it's going to be tough in the next 10 years because it really should be where I would hope that there would be some bigger radio companies that would kind of segregate a little bit in the sense of just maybe like an affiliate type of system instead of an owner straight up ownership system. We'll see if that happens because it really needs to be infused with talent. And one of my big mantras, and Ryan, you know this, is that young talent in this current system of radio is being stifled. That
Yes.
you guys it's going to be harder for you guys to really make your impact and create a career out of doing something you love. And to a certain extent, it is with me too, because you have been told your entire life to go to college and you can't get anywhere without college. So you go to college, you pick up these student loans, but you can't find a job in radio that allows you to pay those loans. So what happens is that before you know it, people who are going to be looking to go into the radio business, they're going to need a college education because that's the way it's going to be. You're going to need a college education. You're going to need some sort of technical training, but you're not going to be able to afford to go into radio because the pay's not going to be there for the starting salaries, and the opportunity for young people aren't going to be there because there's going to be no room for someone to grow because it's all result based in the now. With PPM, it's all in the now. It's all people saying, hey, what are you doing right now? And instead of the long-term picture, it's the now. And I think in the next 10 years, we're going to see that a little bit more until it bites radio in the butt, and then it's going to get better.
Now, before we let you go, where can people find your work online, Paul?
Yeah, you can connect with me a couple of ways. You can follow me on Twitter, @PVarga on Twitter.
Okay.
You can connect with me there. You can check out Paul Varga Radio on SoundCloud. I've got some stuff up there within the past couple of months. You can check that out. You can also check out, I'm on Facebook, Radio Varga. You can find it there, and you can connect with me pretty much through Twitter, and I can direct you where to go. I'm also on air Monday through Friday, 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern. That's Eastern. On WSLPFM.com and the WSLP app, which you can download in Apple iTunes and the Google Play Store for free.
Well, Paul, thanks for being on the show, and we'd love to have you on again to talk about like radio and just the news in general.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate you guys taking the time, and I think you guys are doing some good things, and I'm excited to join you guys whenever you have me.
Sounds good. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Yep,
You too, man. And that was Paul Varga, who can be heard every morning up in Lake Placid. But since we don't live in Lake Placid, it's not hard to tune into Paul Varga. Download the TuneIn radio app.
Definitely.
In iTunes, if you have Android, if you have a Razor, maybe. I'm just kidding. And look up TuneIn Radio, make an account, and then look up WSLP, and you can hear them every morning. I'm not the biggest fan of like adult contemporary music, Ryan. I'm not like exactly listening to that, but I listen to it just to listen to Paul because he's very cheerful in the morning. Because when I was at the morning show boot camp, I got to see good old Bobby Slayton do his comedy.
Yeah.
And it was just fun to like eat with him, and like because I was at this table with him and a few people from like Dallas, and he was just really fun to talk to.
Yeah, he seems like a really humble guy and a very nice guy. He also said that you're able to download his station's app because I guess
they do.
WSLP has an actual app.
Yeah.
So make sure you all download that because that'll be a pretty cool thing. Wake up and listen to Paul. He'll get you ready for your day.
Yeah, while you're eating your Captain Crunch like a champ. All right, check him out online. He's at radiovarga.com, at pvarga on Twitter. Add him right now so he knows you were listening to the Hoppe and Super Show. And look up Radio Varga on Facebook. All right, we will be right back on the Hoppe and Super Rich Show. Hang on.
The Hoppe and Super Rich Show.
For artist interviews, videos, and photos, visit theedgeonair.com.